Okie dokie. So, last time we did the first two tiers of the normal raids for Shadowbringers. That's Eden in the background there, in case for some reason you didn't remember. So that means we've only got 4 raids left. And then Shadowbringers is done. Well, the raids are done, the trials are done, and we'll still have, I think we've got 2 patches left. We've got just 2. But that is the story that sets up Endwalker rather than finishes off Shadowbringers, I expect. So, my plan for today is to instead finish the Eden raids and then start Bosnia. Because I don't have Eureka anymore. Eureka is no longer a thing I need to do. Which means I don't have a great deal of stuff I can do off stream anymore. I mean, that's not entirely true. I still need a bunch of candy. I don't need those anymore, though. I still need a bunch of candy, and I still need to level stuff. I have been working on Reaper, though. But I've not really been going at it too hard. It's mainly just been doing alliance roulettes and leveling roulettes, which give me the green candy. So yeah, let's get to it. Life finds a way. Alright, Ian Malcolm. Of course that's in my mind because we've been playing the Talos Principle. I can feel all of the revitalized elements working in harmony. That's just great. I've always believed Eden had the power to restore the empty. I never expected it to happen so quickly. I think we owe it all to Gaia's skills with the hammer. Hammer? Whatever are you talking about? I'm a woman of gentle birth. Hardly the sort to be swinging such a rude thing about. After must be imagining things. I wonder if the effects from the rebalanced ether will spread to the rest of the empty. Perhaps we'll just have to wait and see. Besides, I'm sure we could all do with a rest. I must say, Reen, it's refreshing to see you take a more measured approach for a change. Well, if my experience here has taught me anything, it's that I shouldn't rush into things unprepared. And I've also learned that there are some problems that can't be solved alone. Is that so? Since you freed me from Yulemoor, I've met all sorts of kind people who've gone out of their way to help me. I thought I should do everything in my power to repay their kindness and make the world a better place. But now, more than ever, I realize there's a limit to what I can achieve by myself. Even though I was able to summon Shiva, I couldn't control such vast amounts of ether. If Gaia hadn't been there for me, I might never have returned to normal. I could say the same about you. I was trapped in a nightmare. You freed me. It seems we're more alike than I thought. We might not be able to do everything by ourselves, But if we look out for each other, then we can face our problems together. That's if you don't mind. No, it's fine, really. Things don't work out, we can always go our separate ways. But on the other hand, if I can resist the urge to punch you whenever you annoy me, which I must say is quite often, I've no objection to staying around. You mean it? Oh, thank you, Gaia. May I suggest we continue the conversation in Armorang? Though the empty may now supporteth foliage, the land's normalization hath but begun, and to linger over long still entaileth risks. You alright there, Thancred? Is aught the matter, Thancred? Nothing you need worry about. Let's go. He's just an emotional not dad. Before we do anything else, we should report to Yalfoot. He'll want to know how we've been getting on in the empty. Speaking of Mordsook, there was a snack of some sort that caught my eye last time. I can't quite describe it, but it looked squidgy. Despite a strong suspicion I may live to regret it, I'd like to try one. Ooh, I think I know the one you mean. They might not be much to look at, but I bet they taste amazing. Perhaps we should also try a pot of those jellied wrigglers, or whatever they're called. I'll even let you take the first bite. Ew! No thank you. First coffee biscuits, now worms in jelly. Heavens forbid the two of you might actually eat some proper food. May I ask a favour of thee? Whilst Thancred and I return unto the Crystarium to inform our comrades of our recent exploits, I would have thee accompany Reen and Gaia to Mordsook. I mean, I'm not entirely sure why I'm... Firstly, I'm not sure why I was going that way. I'm not sure why I need to accompany them. Other than as a plot progressing device. I trust all is well, Miss Gaia. It will be once we get out of this desert town. If I have to spend another night in that dingy little room, I shall scream. I'm terribly sorry to hear the accommodation was less than satisfactory. I'll investigate the availability of more comfortable lodgings post-haste. Yeah, I think we'll be staying in Mordsook, at least for the time being. It might take a while for me to write the report, as our expedition was rather eventful. After, I really appreciate everything you've done, and I'm sorry for all the trouble I've put you through. Still fretting about that, are you? What's done's done. Besides, it all worked out in the end, didn't it? You're right. Now, how about that treat we promised ourselves? They might not have coffee biscuits here, but I've heard the wriggler cakes are to die for. Or was that you'll die from eating them? Only one way to find out, I guess. I'm sure trying the local delicacies will keep us occupied between writing reports and thinking about the next plan of action. Hopefully, we'll have another chance to visit the Empty to see how things are coming along. And don't even think about leaving me behind. Good news, or at least it has the potential to be good news. I've received word from Master Urianger. Unfortunately, the message was rather thin on details. He only requested that you return to the Crystarium and meet him at the Wandering Stairs. Not the most likely of places for important meetings, but I suppose you might be able to squeeze in a pint or two while you're there. Pint of what? Apple juice. Delicious. I ain't seeing the giraffe. There he is. There they all are. Pray, accept mine apologies for calling thee hither at such short notice. The matter I wish to discuss is of considerable import. If it's that urgent, wouldn't it be quicker to use those link pearl things Reen's always telling me about? These are words best delivered in person. Did something happen to the Empty? Naught that doth warrant our immediate attention. The elements are in a state of equilibrium, and the propagation of flora continues apace. So what's this about then? As thou art aware, we are not of this world, hailing from what is referred to as the Source. However, unlike after, Thancred and I exist only as ether given corporeal form. Our bodies remaineth on the Source, though the thread that binds us to them doth grow weaker with the passage of time. And if you stay here too long, you might never be able to return. Precisely. Now, with the wheels of change and the Empty set in motion, we believe this a fitting juncture to take our leave. We shall but regret not being present to see the transformation reach its completion. That hardly seems worth losing your bodies over, though. If you have to go back to your own world, who are we to stop you? I always knew this day would come. You'll still have Gaia and after. I know you'll see this through to the end. Together. We will. I may not be half the woman Minfilia was. I have friends I can turn to. They might be brutally honest in their opinion at times, or prefer to save their words and let their actions do the talking. I wouldn't have it any other way. Just promise you won't transform into a crazy ice lady and try to kill me. Again. Though I can't say what the future might bring, no doubt Reen and Gaia will need your support in the days to come. Alas, the mysteries surrounding the fairy are yet to be solved. Whether thou shouldst find the answers that thou seekest or nay, lend not thine ears to its honeyed words, for thy will is thine own. Never forget this. I won't. The time of our departure? The time of our departure is at hand. Yet know that no matter where we may be, ever shall we pray for your success. With Urianger and Thancred set to leave the First, it seems wise to share this development with Yalfurt, who will continue to oversee expeditions into the Empty. Okay, so that's telling me go and see him. You're back sooner than expected. Is everything alright? Oh dear, that's rather unfortunate. I dare say it's something jolly important for them to leave in such a hurry. In any case, I wish them the best of luck, wherever their work may take them. I shall remain here and hold the fort, as it were, and make the necessary provisions should any further forays into the Empty be required. Safe travels, Mistress After. So the rumours of your knack for being in the right place at the right time are true. You see, we've just completed our preparations for another expedition into the Empty. Miss Reen and Miss Gaia agree that it's high time you all went back to see how things are coming along. Though I must say, being at their beck and call night and day does test my patience on occasion. Well, well, fancy seeing you here. After. We were just getting ready for another ride on the Sky Slipper. You had to join us? There was one other thing I should mention before you depart. Now that the situation in Yulmore has settled down somewhat, my associates have made some headway in investigating your past, Miss Gaia. Is that so? I thought that's what you wanted. So did I, but I quite like the way things are now. Picking around in my past might, I don't know, spoil it somehow? Besides, uncovering the truth behind the voice in my head and my strange powers is bound to be more interesting than whatever life it was I had in Yulmore. I understand. We'll find the answers together, just like we do everything else. Did you make that necklace? You mean from the ice crystal we found after the battle? I was sure it would have melted by now, but it seems Reen was right. And yes, we had it made into a necklace. She insisted that I have it, even though it doesn't suit me at all. Still, I suppose it makes a fine memento, so I'll keep it somewhere safe. Oh, come on, Gaia. It'd look lovely on you. Wait, you're not embarrassed to wear it, are you? Don't be silly. Of course I'm not. In any case, I wouldn't want to lose it while we're in the Empty. Unlike the coffee biscuits you brought along, I can't just go and buy another one. That's supposed to be surprise for after. And, in case you were wondering, I haven't been neglecting my training. Wouldn't want my skills to get rusty just because Thancred's not around. I'm ready for whatever lies ahead. Urianger would also be pleased to hear you've had your head in those fusty old tomes. I've even done a bit of studying myself. After all, it's up to us to take care of the empty now. I'm looking forward to seeing how things have changed since our last visit. Come on, let's head over. No. This dried mango is cut into a lot of very small pieces. I don't suppose you fancy taking the helm this time? Sure. Wait, I'll pilot this time. Oh? I didn't realize you knew how. While you were off training, I was practicing with another sky slipper they have at the Crystarium. Really? That's fantastic. Hardly. You've been pulling more than your own weight, and I just wanted to do what I can to contribute more. So you two can sit back, relax, and leave it to me. How good of a driver is she? There's no need to look so apprehensive, you know. Let's get going, shall we? I suppose it is mostly just going straight. It's so strange suddenly seeing you at the controls. Why didn't you tell me you'd been practicing? I thought I'd surprise you, that's all. Well, consider me surprised. All this time, I thought you were only good for smashing things with your hammer. Huh. Bring that up again and you can walk the rest of the way. I'd best behave. Wouldn't want to get stranded in the empty and miss the festival. Festival? I suppose this is the first you've heard of it. We haven't exactly been keeping it a secret, but it's still in the planning stages. You see, the return of the night skies brought a lot of changes. And while everyone's happy, the reality is, it's also been quite stressful. Having to adapt to a new way of life. Seeing how hard our elders are working to keep the Crystarium running, youths like myself came up with the idea of hosting an event as a way of expressing our appreciation. Once we return from the empty, I'll be helping out as one of the organizers. I'd offer to help, but I think you have everything well in hand. I wouldn't be so sure about that, but I'd try my best to make it a success. If everything goes well, all you'd need to do is turn up and enjoy yourself. How about you, Gaia? Would you like to help with the festival? What's that? I haven't been listening. My legs cramping up a bit. Piloting this thing must have made me more tense than I realized. Then let one of us take over. Nah, I'll be fine. Well, as long as you're sure. But if you feel like switching places, just say the word. No. How can this be? I think that explains it. Fire. Light. Oh, light. Does this mean there's still too much of it in the empty? I'm no expert. This might be a result of losing control when you restored the ice element. Even though I tried to use darkness to hold back the light spilling forth, it seems it wasn't enough. Then we're right back to where we started. This is all my fault. No, Reen, you mustn't blame yourself. Ugh. You have returned to me. Restore the darkness while you still can. Familiar voice, an inescapable fate, the promise of salvation at the precipice of ruin. In the remnants of a lost past, I would find my truth. Cloud of Darkness? Although that looks like where you fight the five-headed serpent. Restore darkness? What did you say? Restore the darkness to the world flooded by light? That's it! We thought we'd restored balance to the 6 elements, but perhaps they're still too strongly aligned with light. If that's the case, maybe we can set things right by using darkness. By using darkness? Are you serious? But hold on. It might actually work. Gaia? That's a brilliant idea. I wouldn't go that far. I just remembered what I learned during our adventures. That's all. But this does mean we'd need to call on your services again, if that's all right with you. We've come this far together, and we'll see our mission to the end, to Eden's core. So what am I going to have to fight? Because the only thing even reminiscent of a Primal of Darkness that we've seen would be Hades. Although I suppose the Cloud of Darkness would also fit the bill, wouldn't it? Right, let's get started. But, were there any primals aligned with darkness? Can't seem to recall any. You mean there isn't one? The Ascian's god Zodiark may be suitable, but we need something that Arthur's actually encountered, and preferably defeated. Well, does it have to be a primal for it to work? If it's just a lot of darkness that we need, perhaps there are other ways to get it. You may be right. What we ultimately need is a state of highly charged darkness. It shouldn't matter what form it takes. Does anything come to mind? It is actually going to be the Cloud of Darkness, yeah. I dare say the Flood of Darkness had a fair bit of darkness. You mean the catastrophe that swallowed the 13th and turned it into a lifeless void? We might need something on a slightly smaller scale. The Cloud of Darkness? I can't begin to imagine how powerful it must have been. I'd say we found the perfect candidate then. So hold on. There's the World of Darkness, which has the Cloud of Darkness as the last boss. There's a raid based around the Cloud of Darkness, and then there is the Cloud of Darkness Chaotic, or World of Darkness Chaotic, which has the Cloud of Darkness. Why is that? I mean, I suppose it is the final. It is the final raid. Alliance raid of ARR. And it was mandatory by this point. So everyone has to have done it. Whereas, like, the Chaos fight from the Omega raids, that would potentially also fit, but not everyone would have had to have done that because it's not mandatory content. But where to find a suitable place when where darkness is strong? It won't be easy in a world flooded by light. Well, we've got the Warrior of Darkness and the Oracle of Darkness right here. Seems like a good enough spot to me. What about the light-aligned ether that's all around us? That's where you come in. You can suppress the light while I draw out the darkness. By combining our powers, we can make it work wherever we are. Combining our powers? Yes, between us, there's nothing we can't achieve. Don't be afraid, Gaia. I'm not afraid, just very concerned that this will all go horribly wrong. Which is the same thing, I suppose. Anyway, it's certainly not easy coming up with these plans by ourselves. That's true, but when this is over, we can reward ourselves with all sorts of delicious treats at the festival. Festival? What do you mean? We spoke about it on the way here, remember? I asked if you wanted to take part. I was busy piloting the Sky Slipper, so I probably wasn't paying attention. Oh, well, not to worry. We can talk about it later. Right now, we've got a job to do. Not at all foreshadowing. I'll draw out the ambient ether, and I'll shift its alignment to darkness. Now, focus your thoughts. Memories of the Cloud of Darkness enshroud your mind. Alright, let's give it a go. 12 minutes. You know what that's enough time to do? Progress another Bosnian relic. So let's see. I was working on... Not on Warrior. I was working on Dark Knight. Okay. Oh yeah, Dark Knight and Gunbreaker, right? Oh, I forgot to pay attention to what that looked like. That's fine. What does it look like? Ooh, okay. Okay, I do kind of like that. I do kind of like that. It's pretty good. I mean, yeah, it looks much the same, doesn't it? It just it won't look different until we give it the leveling crystals stuff. The green. Okay, so now I need this one, the Gunbreaker, in order to get the crystals again. And then I'd need to start either healers or DPS. The good news is that we are just shy of a quarter of the way through the red, blue, yellow stage. And we're almost a fifth of the way through with the green crystals. But it would be healer that comes next. Because, like, here's the thing. At this point, there's no actual, like, benefit to me using... Yeah, there's no actual benefit to me using these weapons in Bosnia. I don't get, like, any kind of bonus or haste or anything like that from it. At least not yet. Well, we've got a little bit longer to wait. And there's not a great deal of stuff I can do right now. So let's do some more fates for crystals. Or memories. I should either call them candies or memories, because they're not really crystals. Although they're crystallized memories, so actually, you know what? All three work. Well, we've got both healers and a DPS. Just need a few more DPS and a tank. 2 tanks, actually. That's how numbers work. Oh yeah, I changed my machinist plan. Since I have the hood for aiming classes. It kind of works pretty well with this this coat. Gotta be a little bit careful. Hey, we got a cherry crystal. At least that's, I assume that's what the red ones taste like. I assume it is cherry, blue raspberry, lemon, and then green apple flavored crystals. Oh, I can't be arsed doing the root of evil. That one's a pain in the arse. Although there's not a lot of fates up right now, but I suppose that could be because there's other people doing fates? I find it odd that they decided to do Heaven's Ward fates and level 60 dungeons. When, you know, Stormblood was an option. Though I suppose it's to ensure that people are still doing the content from not just the previous expansion, but the one previous to that. Okay, so they all spawn from over here. Cool. The enemy could be anywhere. You're right, I could be. Okay, so they had some way of increasing their damage and action speed, but whilst also increasing the damage that they take. Is that something that I can get as a blue mage? Because that could be interesting. Oh, okay, this one. Off to a good start when I apparently didn't reassemble my drill, even though I was pressing the buttons. That's not good. Good job keeping me alive, Chimpkin Tendies. Fuck. Do I have enough time to murder this? I don't think I do. Shame.
I'm drawing out the darkness. Get ready.
Voice acted and everything. Oh. Okay. But why is she sexier this time?
It worked, Gaia. We've done it.
I'm just saying. Why she gotta be hot, though? Oh. I probably should have guessed that there was going to be lots of laser beams. It's Cloud of Darkness. I'm loving the music, though. Okay, Floor of Emptiness. They made holes. I can't. Oh. Okay, well that's a wipe. I was wondering why it wasn't letting me revive them. Oh wait, no, it's not necessarily a wipe. We have a summoner. This is recoverable. Hey. Deluge of Darkness. Hey, Quizzle Puzzle, how you doing? Yeah, I keep doing that. I don't know the fight. I don't know the names of the attacks. I don't know how to play Astro. It's a bad time all around. Okay, the clouds are back? God damn it! That attack, for some reason, I just cannot learn from that attack. No. I refuse your knockback. I might be bad at video games, but I'm not that bad. Okay, for that one, I want to be over here for reasons. I'm doing so good. I would probably be doing a better job if I knew what all of my buttons did as Astro. But I still don't really understand what Neutral Sect or Horoscope do. I should learn. But how often am I gonna play Astro? Wait. No. I thought that was the attack that I've been hit by every single time she did it. And I was... If there was going to be at least one time I could miss it and dodge it, I was going to try. But it wasn't that attack. Okay, yeah. I needed on everything and only got one piece? That all went surprisingly well. Of course, we have Arthur to thank for slaying that ghastly creature. You were fantastic, Gaia. Anyone would think you're an old hand at this. You weren't so bad yourself. We make quite a team, don't we? We certainly do. I don't know about you two, but I'm itching to see whether our hard work has paid off. Let's head back. Huh. The plants are just as lifeless as they were before. Maybe the light's influence is still too strong? What in the world? Pretty. Fleeting hues and endless warmth. A gentle light washed over me. A glimmer of hope once lost. Does that mean that everything's in balance? Shadows of the Past. That looks like Ilmeg. We tip the scales away from the light. I'm sure of it. Something's wrong. Very wrong. For 100 long years, I have waited for this moment. I knew it. You've been hiding inside Eden all this time. A butthole. An Ascian. A demon Ascian? An Ascian. I am Mitron, servant of Zodiark. The voice that has whispered to me all my life. Indeed. And thanks to you, I am all but free from my prison of light. Does that mean Eden was used to seal away an Ascian? Wait. That is Eden. An Ascian transformed into a Sin Eater. Huh. I've heard enough about Ascians to know they're nothing but trouble. I never imagined one of them was behind all this. I thought restoring the darkness was my idea. This was your plan from the very beginning. It was, but all it took was the slightest suggestion. The rest was entirely your own doing. Ah, my freedom is so close. I can almost taste it. Finally, my soul may journey beyond the flesh to which I am yet bound. I knew you would come for me, Gaia. Don't flatter yourself. You've caused me nothing but pain. If I've helped you, it wasn't intentional. Even now, your memories elude you. Hearken unto me, Gaia. Remember. In an age past, the world you know as the 13th was flooded by darkness. Like ripples in water, the repercussions were felt in the other shards. No more so than here on the first. It became perilously imbalanced and susceptible to the influence of light. Were light to consume the first as darkness did the 13th, it would likewise become a lifeless void, lost to our cause. We could not allow this mistake to be repeated. It was our duty to safeguard this world from the selfsame fate. After a time, Emet-Selch conceived of a plan to trigger a rejoining, utilizing the very light he had labored to keep in check, and tasked us with bringing the plan to fruition. But at the last we were thwarted by Ardbert and his companions. Though our resolve was strong, theirs was stronger still. And as we fell, so too was the light unleashed. For us, however, death is not the end. Though our bodies may perish, our souls live on, withdrawing but temporarily to the rift. Until you can find a new body to possess. I too would have been reborn, but ere my soul could leave its corporeal form, Ardbert struck me with a blade of purest light, and that light enveloped my body, twisting it beyond recognition. Eden, the first Sin Eater. My soul felt such agony as I had never known, and then I knew no more. In my insensate, instinctive state, influenced by Ardbert's fervent desire to banish darkness, I unleashed the light burgeoning within me, and it spread as an all-consuming wave to every corner of the world. The flood of light. So that's how Sin Eaters came to be. All would have been lost had not the one called Minfilia appeared. Halting the light's inexorable advance, she saved what little still remained of the world. In the process, she also restored to me a sliver of my consciousness, though I remained trapped in my altered form. Motionless, I was capable only of feeble whispering. Emet-Selch, couldn't he have saved you? Perhaps he could have, if such had been his wish. Far easier, however, to simply find another piece of my fractured soul to replace me. From his perspective, there was no need to intervene and potentially disturb the balance of ether. And so here I remained. So after you failed, he left you here to rot? Some friend he turned out to be. Thus abandoned, I called out for what seemed like an eternity to the only soul who could save me. You, Gaia. All this time, you were calling to me for help? Yes, but you had forgotten me, forgotten our duty. Though vestiges of your true power remained, you could not wield it at your will. Time went by, and eventually change came. The light began to subside, and the dark of night returned. Gradually, my voice grew stronger until I was able to exert my will over you. You wanted me to free your soul from Eden, which is why you had me attack it. Another plan that ended in failure, thanks to After. Indeed. Thankfully, your subsequent attempts to restore this barren land allowed Eden to absorb more and more ether aligned closer to darkness, gradually eroding the cage of light that holds me. Owing to your most recent efforts, my mind is wholly my own again, and I am able to project my image beyond those confines. Then all this time, we've been helping to free an Ascian? That's a fine tale. Why should I care about any of it? What are you to me? Come with me to Eden's core. There, all shall become clear. Wait. Gaia, I am your father. I've just realized something. If Eden has been absorbing all that rebalanced ether, that must be why we've struggled to restore life to the empty. I suppose we can think about that later, though. More importantly, it seems I've lost control over Eden. Most likely because of the Ascian. Urianger specifically warned us about not listening to the fairy's honeyed words, so we better think this through before we go rushing in. If only he and Thancred were here now. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, Gaia. I shouldn't be so quick to lose heart. What? No, that's not what I meant. Who are Urianger and Thancred? What? Wait. I know those people. I'm sure of it, but why can't I remember them? I thought something was strange when I mentioned the festival on board Eden. It was as though you had no recollection of our earlier conversation. This is most likely connected to Mitron. Damn it all. What more is that fiend gonna take from me? To tell the truth, the thing that frightens me most is that you might forget about us. That won't happen. But every memory I lose will make two more together. And if I need to know something, I can just ask you. Why not start by telling me about Urianger and Thancred? To be honest, my nerves are all a jitter, so I need something to help settle me down before we confront Mitron. Urianger is probably the most intelligent guy I know. He spends a lot of time reading, but he also says that you can't learn everything from books, and encourages me to go out and see the world for myself. Sounds sensible to me. Much better to experience things firsthand than to read about someone else's. Like those coffee biscuits. No book could ever describe how good they taste. Is there anything else that you can tell me about him? He can walk on water. Until he can't. So he walks on water instead of swimming. That would certainly save you from getting wet. Should have asked him to teach me how. Well, it's something he never quite mastered himself, and he often ended up getting wet anyway. In fact, the whole thing's probably more trouble than it's worth. As for Thancred, he's the one who freed me from Yulmore. At first, I thought of him as my knight in shining armour, but really, he was much more than that. We travelled all over Northrend, and he helped me become the person I am today. He even gave me my name. His gift for song won the heart of many a fair lady. Or so he claims. Singing? That doesn't sound like the Thancred I know. Seems he has a way with words. That must be how he was able to choose such a pretty name for you. Actually, while we're on the subject, that gunblade over there belonged to Thancred. As far as mementos go, it's a Bit on the cumbersome side, but it reminds me of our adventures together. Even though there's little chance I'll ever see him again, it still feels like he's here with me. Keeping your memories close. You have bracelets? You know what? I should keep a diary. Even if I forget everything, at least I'll have something to look back on. That's a brilliant idea. Since we're going to be making lots of new memories together, maybe I could write in it too? As long as you improve your handwriting before you go scrawling all over it. I'd like your entries to be vaguely legible, if you don't mind. Of course, your ladyship. But before that, we've got an Ascian to deal with. Let's get this over with. We came as you asked, so start talking. Why settle for mere words when I offer something far greater? Eden will now afford you a glimpse of the past. More than a glimpse, in fact. It will be as real as any of the foes you yourself have conjured forth. Conjured forth? Wait, you don't mean to perform a summoning, do you? I do. I shall recreate the battle of 100 years past, which pitted Ardbert and his fellow warriors of light against their nemesis, the Shadow Keeper. Their nemesis? You mean Silver? That you should know that name, the true identity of the Shadow Keeper, emissary of chaos. And what do you hope to achieve with this history lesson of yours? You shall see. You shall remember. Now, your very soul will revisit that fateful day 100 years ago. Gaia, you can't trust Mitron. If you do, you'll end up being manipulated again. God, I just hate her lips. Her lips look like Joker lips to me. Or like she's been making out with something. Because there's just so much sort of bleeding. There's simultaneously such a defined line that makes it look like her lips are separate from the rest of her face. But then there's also bleeding out that's happening as well. It's weird. Rain. You're right. My days of being controlled by this demon are over. I have